Welcome to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. Get ready to be inspired, uplifted, and connected to the miraculous energy of unconditional love that I call Mother Mary. If you're a highly sensitive, highly creative entrepreneur or light worker, and you want to magnify your impact and your intuition, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Reverend Frances Faden, interfaith minister, intuitive coach, and author of Meditation is Friendship with God. I can't wait to share miraculous stories, books, meditations, messages, and interviews with other miraculous light workers just like you. Are you ready to magnify your miracles? What are we waiting for? Let's get started. Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. This is Reverend Frances Faden, and I'm so grateful that we get to spend this time together helping you magnify your miracles. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a beautiful resource for you that I think can be something for the rest of your life. You can reread this book over and over again, and it's actually my own book, Meditation is Friendship with God. But before I get into that, I want to just remind you that if you were thinking about joining my beautiful course, Meditate Like Mother Mary, it begins on Tuesday, March 4th, and you can still sign up for it by going to francesfaden.com/meditate. We're going to be spending this beautiful holy season of Lent with Mother Mary every week, going deeper into our relationship with the divine. We'll be following in her footsteps, and she will not only be learning to meditate like her, but we'll be meditating with her. I'll be channeling her energy, and she'll be on the call with us every week as we go deeper and deeper into this beautiful divine relationship. So francesfaden.com/meditate, and you can sign up and find out more there. So today I want to share with you this book that I wrote that I don't think I've done a review on this book before. I've had my podcast for many, many years. And what I love about this book is it really goes beyond meditation techniques. Of course, I do have meditation techniques in here. I go over the basics of meditation in here. This book is actually included, the digital version is actually included in my Meditate Like Mother Mary course. And I have beautiful resources in the back, breathing and all of that. But I'm going to share with you today what I think is the most important, which is your relationship with the divine. And it starts on page 42. Trying to reconcile all the things that have been said about God, especially by people who didn't necessarily know God, can be quite confusing. And it's my belief that those who actually experience something are more likely to be accurate than those who have merely studied a subject. In the case of knowing God, I turn to the saints, mystics, and yogis. We find saints and mystics in every religion, in every race and creed. Not once have I ever read an account by a self-realized saint or master that has said, God is not love, and you better watch out because God is planning a punishment for you right now. In his mystical poem, Samadhi, Paramahansa Yogananda writes of his direct experience of the divine this way. Blinding my tearful eyes, burst into immortal flames of bliss, consumed my tears, my frame, my all. Thou art I am thou, knowing, knower, known as one. What works for you? If you currently hold a concept of God that works for you, then I encourage you to keep using it. Don't think you need to start relating to God as your friend if the way you currently relate to God makes you feel close and connected. Seeing God as Heavenly Father or Divine Mother is perfectly fine. In fact, it can be quite sweet if it works for you. How can you know if your current concept of God is working for you? Take this little quiz. My concept of God makes me feel A, unconditionally loved, or B, judged. A, peaceful, or B, anxious. A, calm, or B, worried. A, power-filled, or B, powerless. A, joyful, or B, fearful. A, connected, or B, separate? A, expansive, or B, contractive? The more answers that you have that are B's, the more likely it is that your current concept of God is not really working. The more you have of A, the more it is working for you. If you do have those B's, judged, anxious, worried, powerless, if that's how you want to feel, then it's working for you. But any negative thing that you feel is not of God. Our egos, the part of us that sees us as separate individuals from each other and also from God, tend to feel the feelings listed on the right side of the page. Rather than label them as negative per se, a more accurate word would be contractive. God's very nature is expansive. So anything contractive goes against our own nature as well, since our nature is like God's. At any given moment, we're either in a state of expansion or contraction always. Contractive energy is a state of consciousness that produces the tendency to think small, to think only of ourselves, and to see ourselves separate from everything around us. We are most genuinely ourselves when we are expansive. Why? Because that's when you are most like God. If your current concept of God makes you feel expansive, it's working for you. Stick with it. Now, the problem of using the idea of father or mother. The problem I have encountered for people calling God father or mother is that we tend to only relate to being children of human beings with human faults and limitations. The idea of our fathers or mothers with all their human faults and limitations, now in a position of omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence, can be unsettling, if not absolutely scary. One client of mine, Margaret, had a father who was always either verbally abusive or ignored her, making her feel either belittled or invisible. When she tried to relate to God the Father, she had a difficult time getting past her hurtful relationship with her human father. The thought of a father who was also omnipotent and omnipresent terrified her. What are we left with if not father or mother? Infinite intelligence, first cause, or omnipresent spirit? These are all valid concepts of God, but they might not make you feel warm inside and eager to share your innermost thoughts and feelings. Unlike the compulsory nature of a parent-child relationship, a friendship is a relationship of equals. Equals? Did you say equals? I'm just a human being. How in the world can I be equal with God? And isn't it blasphemous to even think such a thing? Yes, to some, this is a blasphemous statement. 2,000 years ago in Jesus' time, it was considered blasphemous for him to state that he and his Father were one. He also said, does it not say that ye are gods? I'm not going to ask you to believe anything in particular about Jesus. Yet a man such as Jesus, no matter what you might believe about him, told us that we all would do greater things than he did. If we read the New Testament, we find accounts of Jesus healing the sick, the blind, and the lame. We read about him raising Lazarus from the dead, turning water into wine, walking on water, and resurrecting his body 3 days after being crucified. Whether or not you are a Christian, this is a powerful story. I believe one of the most powerful parts of the story is Jesus' claim that given all he did, we would do greater things than he. This sounds like a statement of equality to me. Maybe you're not yet convinced. Think of someone who represents power to you. If you were to become friends with him, you might not be his equal in wealth or prestige or worldly success. But friendship is not based on these things, is it? In fact, friendship levels the playing field. Each person comes to a friendship with gifts to share with the other, not things to hold over the other person. The only thing that determines friendship is the depth of love that is shared. Here is where God usually has us beat. We can't outgive or outlove God. It is, however, our job to try. Even if you have never had a best friend, you probably have thought about what such a friend would be like. The perfect friend would accept us as we are, love us unconditionally, be trustworthy and honest, have fun with us, and share life together. Be there for us, and we would be there for her. With this friend, we could totally be ourselves. The dictionary defines a friend as a person who one knows, likes, and trusts, ones with whom one has a bond of mutual affection. Can God be one whom we know, like, and trust? The mystics say we can. I say we already do. We just don't recognize God as God in our lives. How do we know God? We begin to know God the same way we get to know all our friends, by spending time together, listening to them, sharing ourselves, developing trust, and being honest. From these seeds come loyalty, unconditional love, and deep affection. Like all relationships, it takes time to develop a deep friendship. More than time, it also takes willingness, commitment, and love. God has already given that to us. Now it is our turn to become God's friend. And then the channeled message at the end of this. Here it is. Beloved one of my heart, one day you will see yourself as I see you, as a brilliant shining light. You are capable of miraculous feats that the world has yet to experience, not the least of which is your infinite capacity to love. So, my friend, that's what I wanted to share with you from this book. As I said, this book has a lot of techniques in it that you can learn if you want to know the nuts and bolts of meditation. In the back, I share resources with you. I even have some tutorials that are available for you as well. But the essence of this book is really coming from that place of relationship and love, and approaching your meditation practice, your prayer practice, your chanting practice, even the service that you do in the world, whatever your spiritual practices are, doing it from a place of friendship. I'm being God's friend in the world. I'm being God's hands. I'm being God's heart. I'm being God's ears. And I am approaching this deepening of going within myself from a place of friendship. I'm going to spend time with my dear and deep friend. Whatever you call that friend. For me, of course, I like to say Mother Mary, but whatever that energy is for you, there's no wrong way to do it. And there's no wrong way for you to have a beautiful friendship. If this message resonated with you, my friend, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. I would love it if you wanted to share it with other people. That would be just so lovely. And I would really be grateful for that. And of course, if you want to go even deeper into meditation, I would love to invite you to join the beautiful course, Meditate Like Mother Mary, beginning on March 4th, 2025. It's going to be a beautiful time of deepening our divine connection in the simplest and most profound ways. All right, my friend. Well, remember, always remember that the key to magnifying your miracles is knowing that your miracle is already here. God bless you, my friend. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. I'm so grateful to be able to spend this time with you. If you want even more inspiration, feel free to visit my website, francisfaden.com or magnifyyourmiracles.com. And if you did enjoy this episode, I would really appreciate it if you left a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever it is that you connect with awesome podcasts. Remember, the key to magnifying your miracles is remembering that your miracle is already here.